Right. Welcome to It's Happening. My name is Jared. That is Joe Nestor. If you have never heard him, he is my newly favorite Christian artist, probably because mine and his story are so familiar. And what he sings, if you can't tell, I mean, my goodness. It's like he just wrote that song directly to me.
Nice.
Anyways, I know that I probably shouldn't be playing other people's music like that. I'm not really quite sure how that really works. But I don't think he's going to get too mad about it. Make sure you go follow him on YouTube. That was his YouTube channel, guys. Tonight, we are going to be doing archaeological finds that prove the Bible is real. And Dane's here with me, guys.
What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody here.
If y'all see me moving around a lot, I have to control everything over here, and I need another screen is what I need. But for now, that's why I'm moving. I promise I'm not high. It just looks like I am.
Yeah. You just need another set of hands.
Yeah.
Tiny hands.
We'll get there. So I've got some videos from this TikToker I really like to follow. She does really good on here. And we've got some other stuff pulled up. We're going to do it like we normally do it, guys. If you're new to our channel, hello, Sharon. We always have the live chat on. So you guys, if you have any comments or questions, anything you want to ask us, we will pause and talk with you. Maybe you have a theory that we don't have or another perspective. We absolutely want to hear it, guys. And don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're watching this after the live, comment below. Share it on social media. It helps us get seen more. If you enjoy what we are doing here, just look in the description. You can find ways to support us there, guys. Thank you again for hanging out with us. I guess let's just go straight to the video. Start off with that one. She's got there's two different videos that we'll play, and we'll probably just tell me if you want me to stop it, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. And I may, as we're going through it and she brings some of them up, we may stop it and pull the pictures up so I can show them better than what it'll show on TikTok.
Yeah.
She's definitely good.
And this person that we're gonna be showing videos and everything. I have not had a chance. I have had the opportunity to hit the follow button, and that's it. So I'm really excited to see everything that she has to offer. Is this okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I was thinking of a different person. Okay, I know this one, so that's good. All right, I'm not completely in the dark.
Yeah, I can't make it bigger for some reason. It's so frustrating. I've tried to do it. So guys, like I said, I will pull up the pictures if y'all want me to when we stop and talk about it. So there's two different video clips we're going to go through. It's Ashley Hayes 2.0 on TikTok. Go check her out, guys.
Say that the Bible is just a fairy tale. It's just a storybook and that it's not real. And yet, everywhere that we look, there is actual physical evidence, proof that this book is not only true, but what is written in it actually happened. Today, we're going to go over some of the top archaeological finds that prove the Bible and also prove that this book is our true history. Starting off with one of the most recent from just 2 months ago, we have the earliest Jesus is God inscription ever found outside the Bible. Now, the phrase God, Jesus Christ that is found on this inscription, of course, confirms what the Bible teaches, that Jesus Christ is God himself. He is a part of the Trinity and that he was sent to die for mankind. I do also find it interesting that this was found in Megiddo, which is the same valley that the Battle of Armageddon will be fought in. So it's almost like as we're entering into these last seconds of these last days that Jesus is declaring his triumph in that valley. And of course, here are some.
I do believe that was actually found in a prison. I'll pull it up. Yeah.
No, that's something.
Where the Battle of Armageddon is supposed to be fought.
Gotcha. Well, what she just said, it really hits home because I have talked to numerous people, whether they've been friends, acquaintances, whether it's just been on social media, online, with the people that we talk to. It is insurmountable how many people, like-minded people like, Jared and I, and so many people across the US, I haven't met anybody across the world, but in the US, she was hitting on something that I do believe that us Christians are really feeling it. And it's just something really strange that it's God came to me at a very distinct time, and I do believe he did that for a reason. And actually, Ashley and I were just talking about this just a little bit ago, how it's like people are waking up at the exact same time for a damn good reason, even though we don't know exactly what it is. And I'm really glad she touched
Oh,
on
we
that,
know
because
what it
I'm one of them
is.
going,
We know exactly
let's
what it
go.
is.
Whatever it is, let's go. It's
Well,
time.
I can't recall exactly where, but it does talk about the elect. Well, I know where that is. The elect being deceived, but it also talks about people waking up. There would be, I think it was 144,000, something like that. I can't remember the exact number, and I'll have to. Now I'm going to have to find it. I can't remember where it's at. Somewhere in the Bible, it does speak about those of us that are going to be waking up in the end times. The saints, I believe it's called.
I've got
If you're
goosebumps when you
watching
just said
this,
that.
if you're watching this and you know exactly what I'm talking about and you know exactly where it is in the Bible, throw it in the live chat or in the comments if it's after the live. I'm gonna have to find that now. I know it's there. I can't remember where.
Yeah,
Um,
it's incredible. And if anybody watching right now has not seen our previous podcasts and that sort of thing and everything that we've talked about, especially the way that I came and the way that he found me, I was by far the most stubborn person on the face of the earth, especially when it came to believing in something and truly believing in it. You can ask you can ask Becky, my ex-wife. She knows that I am the most stubborn person you will ever meet. So for me to finally get that feeling, get that awakening that he did for me when he came,
and
it
it's
took a
something
lot,
it's
and
something you'll always remember. It's something
it
you'll
was
never forget.
and
And
it
it's
was
so
instantaneous.
yeah, it's so for me it was instant, but it wasn't. If that makes sense,
Yeah, it took
it
some
was
time, but
instant when
then
I finally woke up. It was boom. I was like, oh my
yep,
God, that's it.
yep.
But
And
it took
now everything makes
years for me to
sense.
get there. It took
37
me,
years.
yeah, it took me going through a lot of deception, a lot of manipulation myself. Because if you've been following us for a little while, you know that I came to be a Christian through first being an ancient alien theorist. I believed that was the truth. I believed that the aliens were us in a sense, that they had seated us here or placed us here with their Anunnaki and all of that stuff. I believed that first. So I
Mhm.
didn't just come to this like some people go to church, and it didn't work for me that way. I went the craziest route possible. I was believing in aliens and demons and all of that. Now, I wouldn't even necessarily call them demons in a sense, demigods, I guess you'd call them. Before God woke me up, and that was with the book of Ezekiel at the time that I was watching Billy Carson and I was following him. So yes, I'm very open minded when it comes to this stuff. I have no clue why God used this for me. I just know
Yeah.
that God did, and I'm trying to use it to reach other people. Because I know there's other people out there just like me.
Yes. Yes. Here's another little point. Just proving how how just undeniable that feeling was, and that feeling is with same thing goes for Jared. I never really I never really put too much of a solid proof. Yes, this is my religion, because I can believe anything within, within reason, whether somebody's teaching Hindu or paganism, it doesn't matter. I would go, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But as far as the overall essence, I don't I can't even describe it.
You know what
What
else
I
did it for
saw.
me?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Hitler topic. When I
Oh,
started learning that Hitler was seeking the Ark of the Covenant,
oh
Thor's
yeah.
hammer, when he was seeking all of these mythological things, you know. And I started digging into that. That was also around the same time that God was showing me the book of Ezekiel, which tied all of it back together for me, to the
Yeah.
fallen angels, to the watchers, to the Nephilim, to how back then, before the flood, they were manipulating DNA, animal and human DNA. And it was all that all at once. But I'd already believed all the other stuff was real. So I guess I thought I was going crazy. I really did. I thought I was losing my mind. I was like, no, this just can't be really true. And the more I dug into it, the more I was like, I'm completely blown away. I was just like, wow, it's been right in our faces the whole time,
Yeah.
the
See,
whole freaking time.
and Jared, you were saying that you want to use this, what we are doing right now, and you want to live your life to bring attention to everything, and to really dig into trying to help people come to the light, just as I did. And excuse me, uh since that happened, and God found me. Before he found me, I was a hermit. I'd go to work, I'd come home, and I'd lay in that bed, and I would drink way too much every day. Every single day. I didn't care about talking to anybody. I didn't want to text anybody. The only thing I wanted was solitary confinement, and I didn't want to talk to anyone. No one. Now, what? I'm on a podcast, and I am doing things that I never ever thought I would be doing, as far as the day to day, as far as a lot of the things that I've talked about on the podcast. I would have never been doing that. Never, absolutely
That's
never.
really where we see God working in our lives, isn't it?
It's
The
insane.
stuff that you automatically do different.
Boom,
Like the cussing. I
instantaneously.
cussed so bad. Don't get me wrong, I still fell from time to time, but that was one of the first things I noticed that was changing within me, is that I didn't want to, and I knew when I was fixing to do it, and it was like it just stopped myself. That was my first real experience of changing, and since then it's been something new every day, that I
Yeah,
recognize that I'm doing different, that I want to do different, or that the spirit is pushing me to do different.
yeah. And mine, the way that God touched me, it was, I've talked about it before, but the way that it was an instantaneous, complete relief, a complete annihilation of anger and hatred in my heart, in my mind, in my soul, everything, it's gone. You tell me a higher power that can do that instantaneously, because I still cannot remember the actual emotion, the feeling of hate and anger. I can't do it. I get frustrated. I'm an automotive technician. I get frustrated all the time. But actual hatred and anger, gone. It's
Right.
gone.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's insane. It's absolutely, it's just mind blowing, and I love it. I can't thank him enough. I really can't thank him enough. All I want to tell God is, hey, it's about time.
Yeah, I
You could
get
have done this
where
10
I'm
years
doing
ago.
it too much. I feel like throughout the day, I'll start thinking I'm getting on his nerves. I'm annoying him because I just can't stop. From the life I come from to the life I have today, it's unbelievable. We don't have everything that we want, and the things that we want to do in life, sure. But from where I was to where I'm at now, it's people wouldn't even recognize that I was a homeless heroin addict anymore.
Mm. Yeah. I will also, I will also tell a story as well. The Andy that we had on here, we got the most incredible news about her ranch and her entire, her
Yeah.
entire life right now. And it was she, I think she said on the podcast, it's with God now. There's nothing else I can do. It's with God now. Guess what my very first prayer as a Christian was? It was to help Andy out. That was my very first prayer that I have ever said. And the very first very, very meaningful prayer that I have ever said. And it came true.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It came true.
It's so much more I don't know the word for it. When you pray for someone else and then you watch it happen, it's like, wow. I think it does more for you
Goosebumps.
when it's for someone else than for yourself.
Oh, it's selfish. It's very selfish, and it's selfish in a good way.
Right.
When I can help somebody out and it makes me feel happy, yeah, it's selfish, but it's for a good reason to help them too. So, yeah, it's
That's awesome.
incredible.
I'm glad she got it done. Are you ready to keep going?
Let's do it.
All right.
Bible verses to support that Jesus is indeed God. John 8:58, Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I tell you, before Abraham was, I am. John 10:30, I and the Father are one. John 20:28, Thomas answered him, my Lord and my God. Next, we're going to move on to 3 different inscriptions, the Merneptah stele, the Tel Dan stele, and the Mesha stele, all of which have inscriptions that detail events that are written in the Bible. And all 3 steles are dated to the exact time period that the Bible says they happened in. Now, the Merneptah stele is dated to around 1205 BC, and it outlines Pharaoh Merneptah's military victories. And it contains the earliest undisputed extra-biblical reference to Israel to date. Next, we move on to the Tel Dan stele, which is dated to the 9th century and is the earliest known reference to the house of David. This inscription was actually found near the entrance gate of the city of Dan, and it was dated back to a Syrian king. And this inscription was essentially commemorating his victories over other biblical kings. This not only is the earliest reference to the house of David, this also references 8 other biblical kings. Now, the last inscription that we're going to look at is the Mesha stele. Now, this again is from the 9th century, and this is from a Moabite king that we read about in the book of 2 Kings in the Bible, King Mesha. Now, not only does it reference the story that we read about directly from the Bible in 2 Kings, it is the most extensive inscription ever recovered that refers to the kingdom of Israel. It bears also the earliest certain extra biblical reference to the Israelite God, Yahweh. This is what the actual inscription says. So here it says, go take Nebo against Israel. And I went in the night and I fought against it from the break of day till noon. And I took it, and I took from it the vessels of Yahweh. Next, we're going to look at the recently discovered Pool of Siloam, where Jesus healed the blind man in the book of John.
Believe this. So the explanation behind this place is if anybody going to the Temple Mount, which is right there where we just came from, if anybody's going there and you're Jew in the Second Temple period, any Jew going up there.
I actually have a
Go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
Is the city of Troy in the Bible? Is that story in the Bible, or is that mythology? Or
well, they
mythology?
found the city of Troy. It's not
Right.
It's not a myth, but is it in the Bible? I don't know.
Yeah. That's what
Anyone
I was
watching
wondering.
know that? I'm curious. I don't know.
I was wondering about that because the subject matter that this is on is proving the stories in the Bible as truth.
Right.
And I know that the story of Troy, I know all about that. I remember reading it when I was probably way too young to be reading it, because I'm at 8 years old. I'm not going to understand all that stuff. But for the reason I'm asking is, if Troy is not in the Bible, that also means that they are finding cities and structures and everything of that sort that aren't even in the Bible that are becoming true, whether it's from Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Roman mythology. They're finding myths, stories of these things as true as well. So if Troy is not in the Bible, they are finding other things that are not in the Bible that were stories from a different time, a different location, way out of the way of everything. So when it comes to the stories in the Bible, I believe it. And I
It
also
says
am
Troy
going to believe
isn't.
a lot more, whether it's mythology or just stories that somebody wrote down. I'm going to start really believing a lot more than what I had just, that what I've read throughout my life about,
Right.
these myths and fake creatures and all that stuff. It's like, well, truth is coming out.
It says online that Troy, the city of Troy, is not in the Bible.
Okay. All right.
I will look into it more. I'm curious, but no, I think that recently they found that the city of Troy was very real. It's not a myth anymore.
Yeah. See, now, and that came out of a completely different book. If it's not in the Bible, it came out of a completely different book, and it's also true
Let's
as
see.
well. So all aspects, we just have to keep our eyes and ears open and our minds and hearts open. We
Well,
have to.
I'll look into it over the next week, and I'll come back with some more answers on that
Got it.
for sure. All right.
Had to.
But this right here, I would love to go see this. What they're fixing to show you.
Purify themselves ritually. Like it says in the book of Acts, everybody came from different countries. So it says that they would come and they would have to purify themselves. So this was a giant pool enough to accommodate this huge pilgrimage. The numbers of people who would come, purify themselves here, and then walk these steps. See these big steps? So there's supposed to be steps somewhere there going all the way up to the temple. Oh, wow. And when it says that Paul stood at the steps, the preach, when it says Jesus was at the steps, so this would be it. This is from the time of Jesus. So it's under the houses because you know how everything kind of built up on top, but they found those steps going all the way up, and they are excavating and clearing them and building safety rails so no houses will collapse on you while you walk them. So tourists will be able to do the same route that Jesus would have done 1,000 years ago up the Temple Mount. They're doing it. The path of the pilgrims. Okay, we are walking on 2,000-year-old steps to the Temple Mount. This was the route used by pilgrims to ascend from the Siloam pool to the Temple Mount. The road was built on a grand scale and may have been dozens of meters wide.
Did you want to say something? I saw you were fixing to.
Oh, the only thing I was wondering is, have this place, have they excavated the entire area, or have they just done it like piece by piece like every other place and then they shut it down?
It looks like piece by piece right now. The full steps aren't even excavated right there, except I think these are. It's a little bit higher where he was showing the first part of the video. There's more steps that need to be revealed.
Yeah, I'm just hoping and praying that somebody doesn't stumble upon something that they're gonna hide from us and they'll shut it down.
Well, all of this definitely makes me wonder what scientists and archaeologists have been doing the past 30 years. I mean, really, what have they been doing except for trying to convince you that their lies
they're right?
Right. I mean, what every find we continue to find proves the Bible more and more true. Not less. It proves it to be factual. At best, it proves it to be factually historic, right? So you'd think that they would be more interested in looking for these things and finishing them out. Sounds to me like they don't want to because Satan rules this world and does not want you seeing what's right in front of your eyes to see.
Yeah, and as everybody knows, as much as they've lied to us in the past, who even with them doing the digging and doing all the archaeology in the moment, say tomorrow, who knows if they're telling the truth, and who knows what they have found and what they have hidden and they have covered up and not letting us know. So it's always going to be that question.
If they don't start being more transparent and coming out and admitting when they were wrong, nobody's going to trust them anymore. Not just people like us.
And they're already on thin ice.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as they're already.
Look at how much trust the government has lost over the past 4 years alone.
And all the mainstream media and everything. Yeah, now that the truth is coming out about everything, is just yeah. Let's just get to the bottom of it, and let's find the truth. No matter what it is, we deserve to know. All of us do.
Sharon says, check out the city of Troas, I think.
Troas. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of that city. My notepad's in my truck. I will be right back.
Yep, go ahead.
Because I've got to write that down so I don't forget.
All right, go ahead. I'll pull. We'll play some little bit more of this video, and then I will show y'all the city she's talking about.
See this? Maybe it's just a small part of it. But
I got goosebumps. This is amazing.
You buy your lamb on your way up to sacrifice. So they have all these shops. Look.
Wow.
That's a cool.
Here's a little bit better of a visual. Down here is where a pipe had actually burst. that caused the initial excavations. Underneath the mess, they had noticed some steps. So they called in some archaeologists, they called in the Israel Antiquities Authority, and they began digging. And so they're currently in the process of uncovering this whole line of steps. So you and I can all visit it and walk the exact same steps that Jesus did up to the temple.
The Tower of Siloam. Do you remember in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 13, Jesus speaks about a Tower of Siloam that collapsed, killing 18 people. Now, he mentions it for theological and spiritual reasons, but as an archaeologist, I'm asking, can we spot that?
Yeah.
And guess what? Some archaeologist, Nachshon Zanton from the City of David excavation, just came up with a proposal that next to the famous Pool of Siloam, there are indeed remains, foundations of a tower from Hellenistic times that had to be remodeled in early Roman times, meaning it was destroyed in the middle, just as Luke says, just as the Gospel of Luke records.
Now, because I could not fit all of this in one video, head over to part 2 for my absolute favorites. We'll have proof of the Exodus.
Again, this is Ashley Hayes 2.0 on TikTok. We are going to watch the part 2, guys.
Welcome to part 2 of Proof of the Bible. We're going to jump right back into the Exodus. And everybody's pretty familiar with this story, right? Where Moses led the Israelites out of Egyptian bondage and he led them into the promised land. And we read about this story from 4 books in the Bible: Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
Before we go a little further, let's throw some theories around about, Moses' staff. Now, I know that it has been endued, I don't know if that's the right word, with the power of God. But that also brings up the question, is it a directed energy weapon? The staff itself.
Ooh,
So everything that he does with this staff is truly remarkable.
it's like Gandalf. You shall not pass.
We know it. And what was it, Aaron's staff or his staff that turned into a snake? Also, it parted the sea. And what else? I mean, what else? It's remarkable. And I know that that's part of like the burning bush. Also, God can take part of his essence, I guess you would call it, and place it into other angels. He can place it into other divine beings and give them the authority and power to forgive or to not forgive your sins. So imagine what he could do with that. And I do wonder, is that the directed energy weapon? Is that some kind of ultrasonic frequency weapon? And that's how they moved the rocks too, the big stones back then?
Yeah. Speaking of that, the story of Troy, they did prove that they were able to not. Of course, this is our technology we're talking about. The story of how the walls of Troy fell it was trumpets that gave out that frequency to knock them over, and they were able to recreate that, and that is true. I don't know if that's exactly what happened in the biblical terms of it. I don't know if that's completely true, but it is possible. It is 100% possible.
I'll keep that video on pause, but now that you brought that up, I'll just show y'all. I'll show you proof with some smaller rocks how possible it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second. Let me show you guys. I truly believe that it was some form of frequency, obviously, and vibration. Bells. Think about when they got rid of all the church bells. Why do you think they did that? Now that I'm learning the things that I'm learning, I'm starting to understand that those bells were not just there to let you know it was lunch or dinner time or church time.
Mm-hmm.
They healed. The right frequency healed. And they also kept demons away. Isn't that something to think of? I mean, for me, maybe it's just because I'm a nerd and I really like
there is another gentleman that I've actually just recently found on Facebook that he has some incredible videos, and one of the better one, or excuse me, the one that really caught my eye were all of the structures across the world, the ones that were magically built in 1825 when everybody was riding a horse,
right.
You know. And the intricate designs and the structures and everything that they say they carved out, he has studied, and in this video, he is taking sound frequencies and of course showing us pictures of what these certain frequencies look like, and then you put a comparison to the cathedrals in Rome, in Tenochtitlan, everywhere across the world, their designs in these buildings, their frequencies, their
Right.
pillars and everything are direct. They look exactly like sound frequencies when
We'll
you can
have to
actually
do it.
when you put it into when you put a sound frequency into actual into an image. It's
Right.
insane.
They we could do a whole episode on it, and we will,
Yeah.
because they built temples back in the day, all designed for acoustics, all designed for frequency, all designed for the way, depending on where you're standing in the room, for it to bounce off everything in a specific way.
And they are all absolutely perfect, but
it's
they
remarkable
were
what they've
all
done.
but they were all built with hammer and chisel.
Yeah, the slaves, right?
Crazy.
Yeah. Check this out, guys. This is the proof that I can tell you. Now, imagine on a different scale. Imagine Moses' staff being able to send out a frequency like this, but on a much larger scale.
Right quick, mean
Go
streak.
ahead.
I absolutely agree with that. And I can solidify that because I have been a natural musician since the day I was born. I do not know one note of music. I cannot read music at all. But I play guitar, bass, drums, I sing, I can play the flute, the clarinet, the bass clarinet, the French horn, and a spattering of other ones. And music heals you. Frequencies, sounds heal you. That's why when somebody's listening to hip hop, they want to dance. That's why when somebody's listening to blues, they feel it in their heart. That's why when somebody's listening to heavy metal, they want to go.
Yep.
Tell me that just music in general does not have the capability to heal ailments,
Well,
heal our souls, our bodies.
think about this.
You cannot tell me otherwise that yes, it does.
I
It puts
believe
people in different moods.
I believe the book of Ezekiel tells you what Lucifer used to look like as an archangel. I think it's Ezekiel. I'll have to double check this, guys.
Does it look like the Statue of Liberty?
No, it describes him looking
Oh, it's
like
another one, okay.
musical instruments.
Oh,
That's
I
what he
haven't heard
looked
that one.
like
That's
as an
interesting.
archangel. He was the what would you call it here? He would have led all of the worship music. He would have sung worship music constantly to God. Somewhere along the way, this is where they don't really tell you before we move on. The first sin did not happen in the Garden of Eden. It didn't. The first two sins happened in heaven.
yes.
And Lucifer, somewhere along the way, caught a glimpse of himself, and pride creeped in. And that's when he started going around to other angels, whispering in their ear about how much he's going to be better than God and how he's going to be so much better than God. Follow me, follow me. And then that's where the second sin came in. I can't think of it right now. Anyways, but that is interesting that it also describes him looking as an archangel, like musical instruments.
Yeah, that's something.
Audio
That is
guitar.
something I haven't heard. I'm interested in that. I'm gonna jot that down in my
I'll
notepad.
find it. I'll find it too, and we'll go over it in the show too. But yeah, check this out. Now imagine that on a larger scale, and if you had a way to move whatever frequency device, like the Ark of the Covenant, maybe, and not even that. If you get the Ark of the Covenant itself, you could go so deep into, guys. I mean, think about it. Nobody. The weight of it itself. Only 4 men carried this thing. We'll have to dig into that on another episode, though. But truly think about that. The weight of it alone, the God had to give these 4 men supernatural power to carry this freaking massive golden structure that had the commandments and God knows what else in it. And it would kill people with radiation. You couldn't get close to it. It also produced manna for them in the desert. Very interesting. I would love And then the replica that's been at Trump's Mar-a-Lago now for over a year. I think it's gone to Israel now. Something in me says that is not a replica. That's it. I mean, I know I
I
can't
don't
prove
know.
that.
I've seen Indiana Jones, and it did some crazy things in that movie. So
I know I
that
agree with that. I'm not
that is
saying
actually,
it
yeah,
could be
that's
fake.
actually, yeah, one of the very first times that I had seen, in a, of course, in a movie. That was one of the very first things that came to my mind when I watched Indiana Jones and saw that part, and I went, because me, I was probably 10 years old, and I didn't know anything about the Bible or that sort of thing. But I still remember watching that for the first time, and it scared the shit out of me. It did. Just, oh, people melting and everything. And that's when I really went, is it really that powerful? And that's when I went, maybe that's why Hitler was trying to find it, and
Oh yeah.
and of course in Indiana Jones, yeah, the depictions of those movies is World War One, World War Two, and all the
It also
Nazis and all the crazy stuff. But
it
man,
ties
that's,
to UFOs. It ties to demons. It ties to all.
yeah.
I mean, it's just too convenient. It really is. It's just like wow. And then you find out that Hitler was down in Antarctica looking for uh, technology that Admiral Byrd and others. This is all in the military. Yeah, this is not. I'm not making this up. The military, after World War II ended, sent a fleet with Richard Admiral Byrd after he flew over Antarctica and said that there was massive land structures on the other side of the Antarctic wall. They sent him back, and they fought UFOs after World War II, and they described these UFOs as the flying saucers, what they call them, Foo Fighters back then. We thought that they were Hitler's, and that's really why we went to war, guys. Don't let them fool you into any other belief. They wanted that technology. Our country wanted that technology.
And
Um,
every single country, granted, every single country now is still looking for it. You know that they are with their dark web, something something, whatever. It's happening.
well,
If it hasn't been found, they are still looking for it. Guaranteed.
our own soldiers described the UFOs, and they had swastikas on them. Yeah, think about that for a minute. They had
Haven't heard that.
swastikas on them.
Well,
So,
swastika anciently is peace.
well, I bet it goes
Way
back.
before the Nazis.
I bet it goes back even further than that. I bet it
Oh.
goes directly back to the fallen angels, and that
I'll bet
is
you the
what-
Egyptians building the pyramids were sporting that as well, because it was the universal sign of peace across the world until Hitler's patch, or his patch, was he was trying to signal peace. They took it as you can't fly that flag ever again because it's associated with Hitler, bro.
and it's so close to the Christian cross too.
Yeah.
And that
There's
Christian
a
cross
lot
that you
about it. There's a
find
lot
on the
of
Pope,
history.
if you look at the Christian cross that the Pope wears, and on his staff and on their hats that they wear, it goes back to the Anunnaki too.
Mm.
I
did not know that.
I mean, it's
I
just
didn't-
too convenient. It's like what? It's like right there in your face. It's like wow.
Well, it's honestly, it's been so misconstrued, just with the swastika itself. It was completely taken out of context across the world way, 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 way before Hitler was ever thought of. It was
used
across
as
the
a
world.
tool.
That symbol was a symbol of peace. It really was.
That's
And
probably
now
why
it's
they
just
used it.
degraded because, yeah, and
But-
well, and everybody, well, of course, the truth is coming out now, but everybody thought of Hitler as just this absolutely evil, no good, dirty, rotten, something, something. He had some points, and a lot of things I do 100% believe that we were lied about. And I think that we had, sorry, come to my house, whatever. I think that we have been lied to so much that I really think that Hitler was he might have been on the right side, and he might have been doing something good for the world and trying to do something good for the world. But
And they took it and lied to everyone.
and they misconstrued it, and they sent it to us, us Americans and everywhere across the world, that he is just this ball of the devil, the Antichrist, and everything. The
White
truth is
supremacy.
now coming out along with a lot of other stuff. It's like, oh, I have to second guess what I learned throughout my entire life, because there are some points that I am definitely rooting for when it comes to that regime. I
Well,
cannot deny that I
it'll
was
be
saying,
another
yes, that was a good idea.
it'll be another 30 to 50 years before they will allow anyone to openly discuss that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be
We still can't talk
attacked.
about JFK.
Right there, you're going to be attacked. You're going to be labeled a racist. You're going to be labeled a bigot. You're going to be labeled anything and everything in the freaking world if you try to say, "Hold on a
Do
minute,
your
let's
research.
just look at it from a different perspective." I'm not trying to be a bigot. I just want to know the truth. But you
Yeah.
can't do that. You can't. They're
Right.
going to attack you.
I'm right. It's not like I'm going, I believe everything that he said, blah, 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 and I want to be that horrible person that he was, but it's like,
Well, when you
no,
look
I have
into it,
to.
you learn that Heinrich Himmler was a dark man.
Yes.
Now he was involved with. He was
That's
the one
undeniable.
running. He was the one running the Thule Society, the group of witches who claimed to be communicating with the entities that told them how to build a time traveling machine, the Nazi Bell. That told them how to build these UFOs. All right, we got way off track again, but hey, this is what we normally do here, guys. So don't feel bad. We'll get
We
back to the video.
apologize, but we don't apologize at the same
Right.
time. But we only hope that you're enjoying it as much as we are, because Jared and I are basically having a conversation and learning from each other. And we don't want anybody watching going, this is boring. Tell us, get back
We'll
on
circle
topic.
back.
That's what I was here for.
We'll circle back. We always circle back.
Yeah. The one.
in the
My apologies.
Go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
one-
You're good.
The one key point that I really want to try to shed some light on about the whole Nazi regime, Hitler, Mussolini, all the bad people. I do want to put this in some people's heads if they don't realize it already. All right. Those bad people that were underneath Hitler, all the ones that were doing all the atrocious things, we all know that, yes, there were evil people in that place and time that were underneath him, the whole 9 yards. But you need to remember that Hitler was also heavily medicated on high doses of drugs. Now,
you know what?
Let's look at it this way. Look at our commander in chief right now. How
That's
many
right.
drugs are pumping through him right now? And who is pulling the strings? Who knows? Who knows? It could be exactly the exact same thing that happened in Hitler's time. It could have been somebody else doing all the dirty work and all the evil stuff, but they're reporting back to Hitler. Oh, we're only doing it like this. We can only do it like this. It could 100% happen, because it is happening right now. And how long has it been happening with freaking Captain Zumba up there on stage trying to talk?
That's true.
You know, he's heavily medicated. You know that when he gets on stage, he is pumped full of something to be able to make him to actually be able to speak cognitive sentences. You know that he's on drugs. You know it. So it could happen again, and it could have happened in the past.
That's right. The point is to ask questions, guys. What does it hurt to ask? Okay, well, let's just try and look at it from a different perspective. Not in saying you're wrong or right, or just ask the question.
Process of freeing the Israelites out of slavery, there were a lot of events that transpired, including the parting of the Red Sea, water being poured out from a split rock in the middle of the wilderness, fire being rained down from heaven, and much more. But is there any proof? So let's look a little bit at this story before we look at the proof. So this is in Exodus 14. Here we are in verse 16. God is talking to Moses here. He says, raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them. And I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. Verse 21, then Moses
Correct,
stretched
mean
out his
streak.
hand over the sea, and all that night
Yeah.
the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind
I don't believe
and
that
turned it
Mussolini was a
dry
bad one
land.
either.
The
I think he
waters
was
divided.
in
And
the
the
same kind of
Israelites went
category,
through the
trying to do
sea
right,
on
but
dry ground with a
he's just
wall of
painted as a
water on their
horrible
right
person. I
and
do
on their
believe
left.
that.
The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of the chariot so that they had difficulty driving. And the Egyptians said, let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt. Now, is there any proof of this crossing? Why, yes, there is. So not only do we have actual chariot wheels and spokes that are all covered in coral throughout the Red Sea, they even found a multitude of horse hooves along with the chariot wheels and the axles, and everything is dated to that exact time period. But it doesn't stop there. King Solomon actually erected 2 pillars at the Red Sea commemorating this crossing. We see reference to this in Isaiah 19:19, and up at the top on the columns themselves, the Hebrew words Mizraim, which means Egypt, death, water, Pharaoh, Edom, Yahweh, and Solomon were all on the column. But we're still not done yet. There's actually proof of the pillar of fire.
And if you're familiar with what
This is new
happens
stuff for
when
me.
sand
I didn't know that was
is
constructed.
superheated, it becomes
Wow,
like
ain't it?
glass.
That's cool.
Well, you have exactly that right here on the shoreline of the Red Sea where the crossing happened. And it looks like some sort of magma that's hardened out, but this is melted sand. And when he elevates the camera and moves it around, you're going to see some really fascinating scenery. Let's skip forward a little bit right here. Check this out. Just looks like wet sand at first. Look at this rock fused into this, looks like melted sand. Right?
I'm just going to pause real quick. It does say somewhere in the Bible, guys. I remember a lot of the Bible. I just never remember where it was or where it is in the Bible. That if my people won't preach my name, the rocks will literally scream, here's God. And every time I see this stuff, that's what I think. I'm like, wow, that's it. He's telling you right there. When you look at the pyramids, when you look at these megalithic structures, the rocks are literally screaming out to us, and we try to science it away or use logic and reason to,
Archaeologically,
right?
Yeah, get
to
it away.
Push away from the truth of what we're looking at. It's just, I always think of that when I see this stuff.
Right here. And you can even see here, this looks like gravel, but it's packed tight, solid together, one piece like concrete, like it's been paved. And it has not been paved. And this looks like a little puddle of water. It's not. This is solid like glass.
So it's been
It's
melted.
a smooth sheet.
Yeah, absolutely.
That takes extreme heat.
I think like 3,000 something or more.
Yeah, here's something. A determining factor in the Younger Dryas hypothesis is they have found many different places around the world with this melted glass. That's one of the very first things they look for in, say if they have an idea of an airburst happening or an asteroid impact into the soil at some places. One of the very first things they look for is I forgot exactly what they call it, but it's nodules of glass, like melted quartz or something of that sort that turns into this type of glass, and it takes
sand around it. Yeah.
thousands of degrees to do that.
I think it's 3,000 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, if a lightning strikes the sand, it will create that type of glass. Right. But they're talking about hundreds of miles that have this scattered everywhere. It was not a lightning strike. It was something happened. Yeah, something bad happened.
Let's think of what's going on in modern times today. What are we witnessing in the heavens going on? And if you look back at the Mahabharata, if I'm getting that right, if I'm getting it wrong, sorry. I think that is one of the Indian ones.
Yeah, I know exactly
Yeah,
the
what?
Mahaja Barada. Yeah,
Maharabarata, something like that. Anyways, it shows them flying around in machines, the gods having a war, and it shows what looks like directed energy weapons. It shows other kinds of bow and arrow weapons that they didn't have yet. It shows all kinds of crazy weapons that would do stuff like this.
Yeah,
It could have
Mohenjo-daro.
been that. Right. Let's see. I could find it. Well, here I'll
Yeah.
play a little bit more of this and I'll look for it.
Yeah. I believe it's
Of
Mohenjo-daro.
glass, pretty much. It's not ice. And there's a stone right here that's been fused into this back when this happened. Amazing. And it takes about 3,000 degrees or more to melt that sand. And it's evenly melted. You can almost see like footprints. There's stones infused in this melted sand. This is amazing. You don't hear about it. If it was a proof of evolution, it would be in every single textbook.
One of the next substantial events in the Exodus after the Red Sea crossing is the split rock at Horeb, where God provided water in the middle of the wilderness for the Israelites. The Lord answered Moses, "Go out in front of the people, take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile. And go, I will stand there before you by the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink." So Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel.
What a peaceful day, guys. We're here at the base, the western side of the Jebel Allah's range. And at this site, you have this big split rock that's on a 70-foot or so hill. The rock itself is about 70 feet tall.
I want to go see that.
And we know in the Bible that...
And that rock is
last
not
stop-
split.
That is the rock that Moses was told to touch with his staff, I believe, to split, and the water came out of it, and it split perfectly, like water run through it.
Yeah, and it's not. If you, I'm safely assuming that this video is going to show a closer look. That rock didn't just crack. It's
From
not
the top down.
It's not cleavage from,
Right.
it has no resemblance of an actual like rock being split, because it is just perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
And I've heard another theory that a giant's axe did it. That it's like, okay, well,
Possible. Who knows?
it's a good theory. I mean, if you look at it, but that's a big axe, homie.
Oh yeah.
But you can tell. I think it does show a closer up. We'll see. Hold on.
Get to Mount Sinai was Rephidim, and that this was the area that they fought the Amalekites. The water came out of the rock, and Jethro showed up with Moses' family.
There you go.
To go and touch that rock.
It's too perfect.
Look at that.
Yeah, that rock did not
Right there.
naturally just split. You would see evidence of that, and it did not naturally split. It was forced open.
It looks like water. Water erosion. Have you ever got water from a mountain?
Mm-hmm.
Out of the mountain?
Yep, out of the springs and everything.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
springs. Yeah, we've done it. Well, you can do it in Central Texas. You can't really do it around here. Yeah, we used to go and fill up water right there at the mountain, and that's what it would look like. The water would come through and out of it, or wherever it was coming out of. Over time, the water would erode that rock just like that. It's crazy.
Also in this area on Mount Sinai is a burnt mountaintop where God descended with fire, where he gave Moses the 10 Commandments.
Isn't this also the mountain where the fallen angels descended in Jared's time?
Yeah. Very,
Mount
very,
Hermon.
Yeah.
That was Mount Hermon, I believe. I may be getting that wrong. Maybe getting two different mountains.
The base of that mountaintop, which is the only burnt mountaintop in the entire area, by the way, there is a spot where they theorize the golden calf was worshipped, and it even has drawings all over it to signify what they did there. Moving right along, most of us are very familiar with the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where the Lord rained down sulfur balls. But again, is there any proof? Well, of course there is,
They're
because the Bible
finding
is
it.
true. So in
There it
the
is,
exact
right
area
there.
that Sodom and
They're
Gomorrah would have
finding
been
the truth.
located, we find a complete ashy layer just beneath the surface. In
Yep,
this
black
ashy
mat.
layer, there is warped human bones and burnt pottery. And in this area, we also find a very large cemetery consisting of about 500,000 people. And in these graves, you will also find the warped bones, which led archaeologists to conclude that this was indeed a natural event. And of course, last but not least, we find 100% pure sulfur balls. all over the area. And last but not least, my absolute favorite, Noah's Ark, Genesis 7. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. We also read that the ark rested in the mountains of Ararat. Now, not only do we find petrified wood in the shape of a boat in the exact location that the Bible says, it's also to the exact measurements that the Bible says. This wood and the metal that is found within it is actually dated to the exact time period that the
and all of the LiDAR or what ground penetrating radar shows that it's perfect to what it's described as Noah's Ark.
flood would have happened. Digital scans also reveal
there it is.
the shape of a boat that goes down beneath the surface. You can even see the protruding deck joists here. Another view here and over there, and there as well. Radar scans also reveal that there are chambers beneath the surface, and there are 90-degree angles. There are cross angles. It is a boat. You can also see here where they mapped out where all the metal is on here to hold it all together. Also,
because the greatest trick the devil ever's done is to convince you that he isn't real.
Yeah. I'll have to research. I'll have to get more information on it before I just blurt out a bunch of stuff that I'm not sure of. But there's the type of stones that held boats in ancient times, held them steady during really rough waters, and they have found these stones. They're basically anchors. They keep the boat from tipping over and everything. But they have also something that I had never heard in the past. They're finding these stones that were 100% for boats to keep them afloat. They found like 26 of them from this place here, all just trailing all the way up to Mount Ararat.
Yeah,
where do those stones come from? How did they get on the mountain? Why are they pointing in a general direction when it's when you think it's just a story, it's just a myth?
Yeah, I think
the proof
they're
is
not
coming out.
They're not going to dig anymore right there. They're not going to let you.
Yes.
They're not. To go back to Tepe, the Turkey's just not going to let it happen. And I think this is one of those things where, you know what, Turkey, get out of the way, because this is for all of humans, not just
and everybody else everybody else that is influencing Turkey to keep it hush hush. Everybody's got to go. All of Turkey's government, everybody that is associated with it, that is saying no, you got to go. You've got to go.
It's not going to happen until Jesus comes back. It's just not. This world, the Bible tells us this world is run by Satan. All of the leaders, all of the leaders are run by Satan. And I used to think that was just a metaphor or a parable or whatever they use in the Bible, right? You know what I mean? I thought that was just a way to tell us right from wrong. And man, it's
turns
so
out they're
true.
Stories, and they were trying to tell us things.
Yeah, they're not
really
just myths or songs or a good way to live, a parable. Yeah, I mean, it's all real. It's all very real. We are all being deceived. And when I say we are all being deceived, I'm still being deceived. I have to pray on a daily basis for God to show me where I'm being deceived. What is it that I am allowing to deceive me? Because there's stuff we're going to keep learning every day moving forward, just how much we're being deceived.
Yep.
Jesus told you, if you have eyes to see, see. If you have ears to hear, hear. Pay attention. Ask the Holy Spirit to guide you, to give you discernment on this stuff. Don't just believe us because we're out here talking about it.
Yeah.
We do this. We do this to.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. We do this to challenge you to think. Go ahead. You're good.
Oh yeah. I can't tell you how many times I have heard that saying, and it did not make sense to me until now. And you brought it up, and I went, oh, yeah, okay. All right, I get it. It's insane. It's captivating. And I'm so glad that he finally found me. I am forever in his debt for him finding me, because he changed my life in so many, just countless ways, that is just unbelievable. Absolutely, it just indescribable. The way that my life has changed since that time, that instantaneous time where he came and he gave me what I needed. He gave me exactly what I needed, because I knew that I had a lot of rage and a lot of hate and towards too many people,
Right.
and it's too much. It's too much to deny. It is completely undeniable.
The Bible tells you, you will know by your fruits, by your you will watch a Christian who just becomes a Christian. You'll watch it constantly grow and change. That's the fruits he's talking about. You will know them by their fruits. You will. You A Christian should be set apart. Like, people should look at you and probably judge you. People are going to see you and see God. They should. They should see you gradually changing. And the closer you get with God, the more that's going to happen. Just think of this. When Moses went up on the mountain and he directly came in contact with God, when he came back down, they couldn't look at him in the face. So it describes him shining so bright that they couldn't look at him in the face.
Was it? I have heard this, and it is absolutely happened to me as well. But I don't, because I haven't read the Bible the whole way through yet. But I have heard that when you are in the presence of God, you immediately feel fear.
Sure, you'd feel fear.
But
It's
just
not
because
a-
it's
not-
so
not a
awe-inspiring,
frightening
so
fear.
powerful.
Right. And you
Well,
should.
The night, you know, I told you about it. The night that the hand came to me, I felt pure terror, dread. Just, I was scared. But then when that hand grabbed me, whoosh, gone. I just went,
Yeah.
you scared me. And I went back to sleep. My buddy Jared Rice, my best friend of my entire life, my number one Jared. I remember him telling me about that. I don't remember how the conversation came about or anything of that sort, but I remember him telling me that in the presence of God, you will feel fear.
Sure.
I don't know if
Absolutely.
that's true. It happened to me, and
Should
that's
be-
what I felt. But
Like you said, it went away immediately. You'll know the
Gone.
difference. The spirit in you should know. If you don't have the spirit, guess what? You won't know.
yeah,
You won't see. You will ignore it. You will brush it away as a coincidence. You will look at it as something, oh, well, maybe my mind's playing tricks on me.
saying that's how stubborn I was. Even after that happened, even after that absolutely mystical, just awe-inspiring, mind-blown type of night that was, I still went, that probably wasn't God.
Oh, yeah.
That probably wasn't him.
It happens.
Bro, he was trying to tell you a long time ago, and then you just got more lost, and he finally found you. It was like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you were trying to talk to me, but I know you came at the right time.
Right.
I know you opened me up and woke my mind and my soul up at the right time,
That's all
because
that matters.
I know that something's coming, and I am not afraid. I feel
No,
I
we shouldn't
do
be. That's
feel-
right. You shouldn't be.
I
afraid.
feel like something
You
is
should
on
be
the
excited.
way, and we are on the right side of the force.
Closer,
to
the
put in
closer,
context.
the closer I've grown a relationship with God, when I see this stuff, there is an initial worry because I have a family, but at the same time, I get extremely excited because I have a family.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm doing the best I can to send them on the right path. It's a healthy fear. It's every time an angel comes across someone in the Bible, the first thing they say is, do not fear, do not be afraid. So imagine what it would be like in the presence of God.
Right. Yeah.
The few times that I have really and truly come into the presence of God, I haven't been able to talk afterwards for a little while. Physically not being able to speak.
Hmm.
And the first time it scared me. It was hard to deal with because I was around a group of people and my pastor was trying to talk to me afterwards, and I was just like, I couldn't talk, I couldn't speak. I was nope. And I felt high for days afterwards. It was
Yes.
That's the best way I can describe it because of my past. It's unlike anything I'd ever experienced ever.
As both of us, as former addicts, as current addicts, whatever you want to call us, that the feeling that I had that night was more powerful than any drug I could have ever taken. And it's stuck with me since.
That's what it'll feel like every time. Every time you come into his presence, it'll feel that way. At least it has for me anyway.
Man, it's incredible.
Before we go, guys, I know we're right at an hour, but I wanted to pull up something real quick, something that we were talking about earlier, and show it to y'all.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then we'll get out of here. If you haven't yet, would you kindly smash that like button, comment below, share this on social media. That'll help us get seen more. I just want to show y'all this one thing, the Mahabharata. I believe I'm saying that right.
Over 7,500 years ago, a monumental event unfolded on the plains of Kurukshetra in ancient India, the Mahabharata War. This was not merely a myth or legend. It was a real historical conflict that profoundly changed the course of human history. Lasting 18 days, involving 18 armies known as Akshahinis, and immortalized in 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. The war drew in 4 million warriors from across the known world. From the deserts of Syria to the jungles of Cambodia, kingdoms heeded the call to arms. The Mahabharata records warriors coming from as far west as modern-day Iraq and as far east as Southeast Asia. This vast mobilization reflects a high level of societal organization and interconnectivity in the ancient world.
Well, that contradicts everything we've been taught already.
Yeah. Hey, this was myth. This was only a myth. This was only stories to us. That's all it was.
That's wild. We'll get into that deeper, though. I just wanted to show you guys that I was saying it right, and it was in India.
Yeah, and now that I forgot his name already. The little bubble went away.
Here.
Yeah, I loved what he just said too, because it's undeniable. He says once you have seen once you have the eyes to see, then you cannot unsee any of it.
That's right. And
Boom.
more you start to see. You start to feel like you're the one losing your mind. That you're the one going crazy. And when you finally reach that point, you're there. I promise, everything you've ever thought, and it's going to start to blow your mind even more. Once you reach that moment where you ask yourself, am I going crazy? Welcome to the club. Because it's never going to go away.
And now I am very, very proud, and I am very blessed. Much love. That I can honestly say that I 100% feel that I am a vessel. I am a vessel of Christ. I am. Yeah. I don't care. Everybody that has known me in the past, they're probably still looking at this going, there's no way. No way. Absolutely. Yes. That is the way I feel. I feel that we have to get this out. We have to let people know. People need to know the truth, because like I said, I feel like something's coming, but now we're on the good side.
You want to know what God's will for you is in simple terms? Go out and make disciples of the nations. He didn't say go out and make Christians. He said go out and make disciples. That's important to remember.
There's a difference there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we're already over an hour. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yes.
If you are just joining us, these videos stay up all the time, so you don't have to catch us live. but we like to come on here and do this live so we can chat with you guys and engage with y'all. It truly means the world, y'all hanging out with us. I got a review from someone last night that makes the whole 2 years that I've been doing this worth it. It means the world to me. And if you're following me on Facebook, I reposted it in a post so you guys can see it. And I tell you guys that yes, we want to make money doing this. We want to travel. We want to do a documentary. We want to create multiple channels out of it. But even if I never make $1, I'm still going to keep doing this because God is telling me to do it.
Yes. See, Jared and I had this conversation as well just a couple of days ago, and it was him and I both. But let's just face it, everybody's struggling financially right now. Everybody. I can boast and say, yeah, I make $30 an hour. I'm still broke. Still just, man, oh man. And we would love to be able to make money from these podcasts. But what Jared and I were talking about was, let's build a compound with all of our close friends and family, and make enough money and just live in a community that is just love and appreciation, and just make a town where people actually talk to each other.
Not a communist compound, just a compound. Not a white supremacist compound, just a compound.
Yeah, even if that magically happened and Jared and I and all of our families and everybody was well off financially, Jared and I would still be doing this because we love it so much.
That's right.
We're not looking directly for monetization, even though we need it. We absolutely want it and we need it, but that's not what we're in it for.
And you can go back through all my episodes. I've been doing this for almost 2 years. And like I said, I just really enjoy doing it. I know that I'm probably not the best at it. I just like doing it. I love doing it, and I feel like God's telling me to do it. For whatever reason, I don't know.
I honestly think that's the biggest reason why, is because God has instructed you and I, and countless others, if they are willing to, and we've already found multiple people that are on the same page and the same wavelength, and still all of us are going, this needs to happen.
We're going to
do that in any way, shape, or form.
We have a new guest coming on probably Saturday with us, who's going to go over the calendar change from 13 months to 12 months. He's going to go over some other stuff too. That's really all I'll talk with him about. But he posts a lot of things on TikTok that go with what we do here. So it's perfect. I mean, he'll be a perfect fit. You've got some coming. Ashley's going to come back on. Andy's going to come back on. We encourage you to come on with us. Even if you
100%.
disagree with us. Even if you disagree with us, I want to talk to you. I can't learn and grow myself if I don't bring on people who disagree with me. So I do look for that. Now, if you're coming on as an atheist or something, I'll even bring you on too.
Oh, yeah.
You come and have a debate. I'll debate you. I'll debate anytime, any place. I don't care. Let's do it. It's fun. I want to learn. I used to be one, or I thought I was myself. So it's not, I don't have a hard time talking with people like that. I think that the viewers themselves can get more out of people like Dane and me who don't agree on everything, who come to this at a different way at a different time in our life. I know that it ain't easy. It wasn't easy for me. I'm not going to sit here and act like all of this was just easy for me. It took me a period of time of waking up, of seeing these things and starting to understand that God is talking to me, that he truly is showing me these things. And I don't know why, but I'm losing my mind. And I mean, it went to from aliens to flat earth to all of it, and just back and forth and back and forth. And I beat my head over this flat earth thing. I'm like, why, But the more I dig into it and the more I pray about it, the more I'm just like, wow, I just can't believe it. And again, when I say flat earth, I mean, they're lying to you about a lot of the, what is it called? It starts with, I can't ever forget. Actually, I told you the other day, if I forget, what's it called? You don't remember either. Oh man, there's a certain word that I keep forgetting. It's the scientific word for the globe, not globe. What's it called?
Scientific word for the globe.
Yes. For how they teach you the globe. The scientific word. Does anyone know what it is? Because my mind is just going blank again.
Besides globe, I don't remember.
It starts with an
remember
H.
anything.
It starts with an H. And my brain, as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to remember it. So I'm sure one of you know it, guys. Thank you, Mean Street, for following us on Facebook, too.
Yes,
you're-
Mean Street. Oh, yes.
You're local. You're local to us.
Yep.
That's
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're in Southeast Texas as well, if you can't tell from my accent.
Yeah, and I'm from
Actually-
Utah, so all across the United States. The
Yeah,
the
we've
guests that
made
we've
friends
had
across
on
the whole
from
United
Nebraska, all others from Texas. Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna let y'all go because I know y'all are probably hungry. So am I. I want to watch some Tim Pool as well, see what's going on in the news. I need to do it. We need to do a political show soon. I haven't really been doing them, but then again, I do. All my shows are mixed together, guys.
Oh yeah, we'll touch on everything.
When I first started, I had separate channels, and then I've been doing this for so long, it was just too much to keep up with. So yeah, I do everything on this channel now. I do have the Unseen Realm channel. If you want to watch my older stuff on there, you can see me progress through all of this. I mean, I've done all of these videos so much that you can see me grow through it. I'd like to pay somebody someday to go back over the episodes and do a video progression of myself. I don't know if that's narcissistic or not.
No, in my standpoint, my viewpoint, that simply means that you are proud of yourself, and that is a damn good thing to be.
Right.
Because I can say the same thing. If I would have maybe possibly been doing this podcast 6-8 months ago, I wouldn't have been doing the podcast.
He wouldn't do it with me at first.
I am so proud of myself, and I am very thankful to that guy up there for letting me see that. But I am very proud of just when we first did our first podcast to right now. I am super proud of myself. I am. And I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of, because I went through a lot of shit for a long time, and now it makes sense.
To come from where we came from,
I'm growing from it, not just sitting in my own just hate and rage and nothingness, I guess.
Before I go, Mean Streak, Sharon is my mother. You probably can find her on my comments, tags, and stuff like that if you want to follow each other. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I am going to go eat. I am starving. I need to start eating before I do these, because right at about an hour, I get hungry every time. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to start on weekdays that me and Dane do it. We're going to start coming on at 7. On weekends, still 6. Okay, on Saturdays,
that's
still
perfect.
6.
Yeah.
So we're going to change it up a little bit to try and get more people to be able to come hang out with us. I can't do it later than 7, but 7 I can do it. So we'll do
and
it
that will be perfect for me as well. You know, because of course Jared is he's an hour away from me. Yeah, whatever you call it. I can't.
Our time zones are an hour.
Time zones. Holy cow! I need.
Nick Trump's going to fix that too. He says he's going to.
That would be so great. And daylight savings time, please. Let's get rid of that, please. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Now one thing, here's my final thought, just like Jerry Springer. When it doesn't matter whether you see our shares or our posts or anything of that sort on with the podcast on Facebook, X, TikTok, wherever you see it, we do, and especially here in the live chat, and we've talked about many times, if you guys want us to talk about something in specific, please let us know, because here's the typical day that we have, like before the podcast. I was racing home today because him and I still work. You know, we are still blue collar, you know, working 40-50 hours a week. And on the days that we're doing the podcast, just like today, I got off early, but I was still racing home, and I was still trying to get comfy and get set up by the time it was almost 6 o'clock already. So
we'll do it at 7 from now on.
Right, but what I'm getting at is that if everybody or anybody gives us a topic to come on to, that would be great, because this podcast in particular, Jared, what time did we actually get like a solid, like, okay, we should do this topic?
5, I think 5,
Was
something like that.
it was it was almost no time to prepare, but the good news is that Jared has just endless knowledge on this sort of thing, and of course I have not endless, but I have a lot of knowledge as well. Sometimes contradicts, sometimes it's the same. But if somebody shouts out and says, hey, let's do a topic on strictly Antarctica and where the pyramids might be, and maybe the ice wall and that sort of thing, let's do it. Because then we could say, yes, let's do this, and we'd have time to plan it as well, instead of just throwing them together like we did tonight. Even though I think they're incredible podcasts, but we want it also tailored to our viewers and who's in and what they want to talk about, because Jared and I could ramble on for 5 hours about everything and nothing at the same time. But if anybody's wanting a certain topic that we need to get onto, please let us know.
Yeah, just throw it out
we will
there.
definitely do it. We are not afraid to talk and cover any topic,
especially if it's something we haven't yet.
Correct. Oh,
throw it out there.
Let's go.
Anyways, guys, thank you again so much. Smash that like button, comment below.
Yes.
Make sure you're following us on Rumble. If you look in the description, you'll find Dane and myself, all our social media, and ways to support us if you so choose. God bless. Y'all have an amazing evening. We'll be back tomorrow at 7.
Much love, guys.
At 7.